Hello, this is Andrew Lee, and welcome to my tutorial on how to make widgets that fit to any screen size bigger than 1280 and by 720. We will also be going over parent widgets, a widget controller, and widget switchers. So this is a clean project in Unreal 5.3. This will work in all the Unreal 5s as well as in Unreal 4.28 and up. Let's get started, shall we? So we will make a new folder and we will call it Widgets. And we will go to User Interface, create a widget blueprint, User Widget, and we will call this W-Widget Parent. We will now open up our widget parent. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put in a canvas panel found in panel on the palette. We'll put it in there. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to go here to where it says fill screen. We're going to do custom on screen. And we are going to set it to 1280 by 720. Now, if you're wondering why we're doing 1280 by 720, that is the smallest common, the most common smallest screen size that people use. You can take my word for it, or you can check on Steam stats. I think the stat is 98% of people will use that size for their computer playing, or at least that's the small size they do use. By using this small size here, any widgets that you design that fit in that screen size will fit on anything bigger. Anything smaller than that, problems happen. You start having widgets overlap. But anything bigger than it should be fine. So, next thing we're going to do is we're going to get a scale box. I'm going to put it right in there. Click on the scale box, set the anchor, and if we hold control when we click this right here, it'll stretch it all the way across. Right. Now we have our stretch here. I always forget which option is the best. I'm pretty sure it's scale to fill, but we'll come back and change that if we need to. Or you can always change this to whatever fits your project best. For most general purposes, I'm pretty sure it's scale to fill, but we will find out. Alright. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to grab another canvas panel, and that's going to go inside the scale box. We're going to grab the scale box, we're going to go to this new canvas panel inside the scale box. We're going to do fill horizontally and fill vertically. And that's all we have to do. Well, there is one more thing. We are going to put in a widget switcher. This widget switcher is going to go here, and again, holding control and clicking this will automatically resize it to here. We could also use the control method to resize it to any of the other different anchors that we have here. But we are using the full screen, so that's what we will size our widget switcher to. Alright, we will now compile this. We'll do a little bit more with this widget switcher here in a moment. But we need to go make our second widget. This is going to be another user interface widget blueprint. And we are going to call this W dash widget control. Alright. This is going to be a very simple thing. We are going to open it up, and we are going to simply put a panel, and we are going to put a vertical box in the panel. And then we're going to put and this is where we're going to put our buttons for controlling our menu. All right. So, oh, not a vertical box. I'm sorry. I meant a horizontal box. So we're going to go ahead and have one button here and then another button here. This button we are going to call our character sheet button. And then the second one we will just call the settings button. In both of these, we will put a text. We will call this one character. And we will call this one settings. And then we will make a third button. Give it text as well. And we will call this one the exit button. Now we're going to go here where it says fill screen, and we're going to do desired on screen. We're going to set this X here to just be a capital X. All right. Now we are going to go into the graph for this one. And we do not need anything here. We do need to make a variable here though, which we will call parent widget. Oops, I can't spell. And we are going to set the variable type to w-widget parent. It's going to be an object reference. Now off our character sheet button, we are going to do a on pressed. For our settings button, we will do an on pressed. Then for our exit button, we will do an on pressed. And we will come back to this. So here in our widget parent, let's go to graph. And on, we don't need any of this. Actually, we don't need this. We do need the construct. Event construct. So we are going to go on ahead and we are going to make a custom event. Custom event. Which we are going to call switch widgets. We are going to give it a input called widget index, and this will be a integer. We'll grab our widget switcher here, and we will do a switch or set active widget index. It will go here, and we'll put our widget index here. We will compile it, compile our widget control, and save, and save. Now we're just going to make a quick test widget here. Go to user interface, widget blueprint, user widget, w test HUD, and we're going to open up our test HUD. We're going to come down here, put it in a canvas panel. And again, we're going to do the same thing as we did before, custom on screen, 1280 by 720. We are going to take a, and for this purpose, just so we can show off how things work, right? We are going to use an image here. We're going to set size to content so it's a nice square. Go down to our brush. And we're going to set our image size to something nice and visible, like 100 by 100. Then we're going to go up to our anchors, hold Control, and set it here in the top corner. Then we're going to take this, hold Control, and D 3 times. So we duplicate it. Then we're going to set each of these in each corner. And you know what? Just for funsies, we're going to make 2 more. And we're going to put one in the center. Another one in the center. And you know what? Let's just make 2 more again. And these ones are going to go top center, bottom center. Oops. Bottom center. There we go. Now, as you can see, they're not all right. So we're going to take these ones here. Going to hold shift and click on all of them. And we're going to go to our alignment and give it a 1 on the X. And then we're going to click just this bottom one here and give it a 1 on the Y. Then we're going to go to this one and give those both a 1 on the Y. This will put them right there in the center. We can also take these ones here and give them a 0.5 on the Y, and these ones here a 0.5 on the X, so they're directly in the center. All right. This will be our test HUD. Compile, save. And we are going to come in here, duplicate this, call it our test character sheet. Duplicate again. And we'll call it our test settings. We'll open up our character sheet real quick. Select all our images. We can just select the first one here, hold shift, and then click the bottom one, and we'll select all of them here. And we'll go to tint, and we'll set these to green. And then we will go to our settings. Do the same thing, click the first image, hold shift, click the last image, just select all of them. And we'll go to our tint, and we'll set them to red. There we go. Compile. Save. Compile. Save. There we go. So now we're going to go back to our widget parents. Go to the designer. And in our widget switcher, we are going to look for W-test. And we can see our HUD, character sheet, and settings. So we're going to do our HUD, character sheet, and settings in that order. So this widget switcher works as an array. It will load all these, keep them all loaded, up and going, nice and good. This is better than making a bunch of widgets and then getting rid of them, as it's cheaper. When you make individual widgets and add them to the viewport, and when you get rid of them, it leaves like a half-remembered widget behind. And that can really slow down your computer, especially if it's a widget you need to open quite often, like a menu, a HUD, or really anything like that. A widget switcher just lets you make one without having to make up a bunch of widgets, having, you know, create widget, add to viewport, yada yada, all that jazz, right? So we have our test widgets here, right? We will compile all of them, and then we will go to our widget control. We're coming back to this thing. All right. What we're going to do is that we're going to pull off our parent widget, use get, and we're going to look for our widget switch widgets control. And we're going to copy and paste this twice. Hook them right on up. Now, this works as an array. This is 0, 1, 2. All right. So here, what we want to put for our character sheet button is 1. because that is where that's its position in the array, 1. Our settings button is in the second position, or 2. So this will be 2. And then for our exit button to go back to our HUD is in the 0 position. So we will just leave it as 0. All right. Now we are back to our widget parent in the designer. And what we are going to do is that we're going to select our widget switcher, right click on it, and wrap with a vertical box. The vertical box, we're going to click here and set it to fill that whole area. And we're going to do size to well, no, not size to content. That would be silly. Our widget switcher, we are going to set to fill. Now in our vertical box, we are going to search for our widget control. And we are going to put that over our widget switcher. Oh, it might help if I actually had the widget control in the vertical box. There we go. The important thing is that your widget control is over your widget switcher. Make sure you have this set back to fill. And here we are going to set it to be centered, just like this. And you know what, just to make for legible reasons, we're going to go back to our widget control. We're going to select all our buttons. And we are going to give them a padding of 15. And then we're going to select all our text. Go to font, outline settings, and we're going to give it all a outline size of 3. This will make it a lot easier to read and just generally just makes your widgets look better. Now, of course, you don't have to put your widget control here at the top. It's not required. It just makes life a lot it's just whatever your project needs. It's easier for me because this is the way that I like to set up widgets, having the controls at the top, but you can put the controls anywhere really. So now we're back in our widget parent. We're going to compile everything and save. So we're going to go to graph, and on our event construct, we're going to grab our widget control widget that we added, put it down right here, and we are going to set widget parent. This is that variable that exists in the widget control. This is how the widget control knows to call this event when you push the button. We're going to put that down, and then we are going to right click, get a reference to self, and just hook it right there into the parent widget and compile. Now, if you need your character sheet HUD settings to be able to talk to each other for whatever reason, what you would do is that you would add a parent widget variable to them. And it would just come through, pull in the character sheet, set parent widgets, and then you can just pull it. So you would have something like this, for example, and then you could just pull this across since it'll be the same widgets or the same variable. But then you can call that so you can then get to one of these things here, right? In fact, I'll give you a quick example here using the widget control in graph. So say you needed to be able to communicate to your character sheet for whatever reason. So you wanted an animation to play when you switch widgets, right? What you would do is you would grab your parent widget here, get test HUD, and then you have a reference to the test HUD, and you can do whatever you need to do here, right? So if you needed to get image set brush tint color, make slate color, make linear color. And let's do a random float in range 0 to 1. We'll just do 3 here. We'll set the alpha here and to make slate color to 1. And we'll just put all these here. And this will give us a random color on the image, on the first image, which would be that image in the top corner. All right. That's how you communicate to different widgets inside the parent widgets. But there we go. That should be everything set up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our character sheet here, third person blueprints, and we're just going to make a quick and dirty keyboard access to it, right? Keyboard, and we'll do it for the 1 key. All right. And we will do a create widgets. Actually, no, that will be something else. We're actually going to go into our event begin play, go to the end of all this, and do a create widgets. And we are going to do our w-widget parents, which we will then add to viewports. Compile. And then we are also going to bring this over, right click here, and promote to variable, which we will call player HUD, because we are also using the player HUD as our main menu system for in-game use. Connect that up, compile, and save. Now, we still need this 1 key though. We're going to grab our player HUD, and when we press 1, what we want to do is do a we want to get the switch widgets, and remember we have to put a widget index here. 0 is our HUD, 1 is our character sheets. That's where we want to open up for our main widget. After this, what we want to do is we want to get our player controller, and we want to set UI mode only. Grab our player HUD to set as the widget to focus, and then we want to set show mouse cursor. And we'll set that to true. Compile, save, and we should be done here. Now back to our widget controller. On our exit button, what we want to do is get player controller, set input mode to game only, and then off that we want to do a set show mouse cursor, and we want to set that back to false. All right, that should be everything. So now we will push play. As you can see, there's our HUD. We know this is our HUD because it has the white squares there. We can move around, do everything we need to do. We can't click on anything. Now, if we push 1, we will see that we are now in our character sheet. We can no longer move around. We can't use anything. But we can click character, and we're in character. We can click settings, and now we're in our settings menu. And then if we were to hit X, we're back to the HUD menu and we're back to normal gameplay. So let me show you why we set it up this way. What is the most important reason why? So we're going to do a new editor window. As you can see, everything's where it's supposed to be. And when we resize, everything's where it's supposed to be. Until we get to like really small. That's when we get past that 720 or that 1280 by 720 screen size resolution. That's when it starts to overlap. But we can resize it. We get it all nice and big. We can make it smaller. Everything resized to where it should be. And this works across widgets. I hope that this helps out everybody who needs to find out how to set up a scalable window. There's certain things you can do to make your widgets more appealing. For example, as you saw when we were in our HUD here, we have our character. We have our character settings and X, our widget control. We don't really want to see that. So what we can do is when we go to widget parent, go to designer, click on widget control, scroll down to not color and opacity, padding, visibility. We can create a binding here, and we can get our widget switcher, and we can get active widget index, do a equal, see it is equal to 0, hold B and click for a branch, hook that up. If this is true, we want our return node to say hidden. We're going to control copy, paste that, and on the false, we want it to be visible. Compile, and I'm pretty sure that should work. Wait half a moment for the game to think about itself. As you can see, now it's gone. But if we were to push 1, it comes up so we can see it, and when we push X, it disappears again. But you can do all sorts of fun things. You can set animations to go off. You can have things change color. Anything that you want to do. I hope this helps anyone who's looking to make a scalable window once more. And have a nice day.